So let's talk about what gut health actually means. I know personally, I hear a lot about the gut microbiome as this essentially environment of bacteria, and you want more good bacteria than bad bacteria. Then we hear like when you eat probiotic foods and fermented foods, that's what helps to populate the good bacteria. And when you eat like prebiotic foods, that's what helps to feed that good bacteria. Give us a little bit more of a picture of what proper gut health actually means.
I would say, like, we always want low-hanging fruit first, right? Because an issue with functional health today is it's a nice kind of buy-in for a lot of people. Like, he does functional health, or this is functional that, and whatever, and they miss so much of the low-hanging fruit, and they overcomplicate, and they go out with these crazy protocols right out of the gate, which honestly they may not even need. They have their place, but I can tell you right now they're being abused at the same time because people and coaches, they get protocol focused, and you can't treat anybody as a protocol. You got to treat them as the person, right? So that is an issue. But simplicity is, I see too little fiber being taken in by most people. That little part right there is huge to keep the mucosal lining strong, because it's like, okay, well, what's that little tipping point that causes all these issues and these inflammatory triggers, right? Well, you have the lining of the gut. And then once that you get permeability in that, right? And you eat something, you digest it, it gets into the stomach, but then the little particles can seep through. And then that causes that inflammatory trigger. A little bit, no big deal. Your body can handle that. Over time, basically the tight junctions get opened up more and more and more and more. Bigger chunks and more is going into the system where it shouldn't be going, getting more triggers, more triggers, more triggers. And then now we have this whole cascade of issues going on. If people just ate enough fruit that are higher in fiber and veggies and whatever it may be, just had a good fiber intake, that simple little tip could prevent so many issues. Because you look at people's diet, especially in the fitness world, they're all in like a bodybuilder type diet with the food sources being rice and potatoes, and people think potatoes have all this fiber, and it's like 2 grams of fiber and around 4 ounces. That's not a lot of fiber. I mean, totality wise, you're looking at getting in a minimum of around 35, 40 grams, depending on the person. And what we like to do, everybody has a different threshold, but we want to test that. We literally want to get it up as high as we can to what that person can tolerate. And it takes time. So people listening to this, like, if you're taking in 15 grams of fiber, do not jump to 35 grams in a day. You'll get constipated. There's all kinds of issues that can come from that. It's like baby steps, 5 grams over 2 to 3 weeks, then titrate up a little bit more, and then a little bit more. But adding in simple things, legumes, people don't eat enough, like beans and things like that, butternut squash, these raspberries, like the fruits that actually have a good amount of fiber in. Raspberries obviously, I think it's around 6 to 7 grams per 100 grams. Then bananas, fine, but you're looking at 1 gram per 100 grams. It's not even comparable. And people, if they paid attention to the little details like this, and that's the whole thing with, quality foods and good foods. Yes, bananas are healthy. Are you getting fiber from other places? Not. Okay, you like fruit, you don't like vegetables. Well, guess what? You probably better be picking fruit that has the higher fiber content. It's little things like that, and people not paying attention to them. Then they get all these issues, and then they want the protocol thrown at them to fix the issues. But if you don't fix the little low-hanging fruit of increasing your fiber intake, you get off that protocol, you're going to go right back to where you were, and these issues will come right back. So the starting point for most people, when they're dealing with something like this, is a lot of times in the wrong place. And unfortunately, coaches, not all of them, but a lot of them are starting them in the wrong places and not teaching them the lifestyle part of the equation to correct these things.
Mm. So you think fiber is just like a really great step for everybody to be able to take, looking at increasing more fiber. What are some other, if that's the low hanging fruit, what are some other things that help to optimize gut health even further?
Yeah, then you're looking at obviously having foods that have your prebiotics or probiotics in them naturally, because you always want to opt for the food sources because you're getting tons of nutrients on top of the prebiotics and the probiotics. Then yes, I mean, different lifestyles and different scenarios. If the CEO has a crazy schedule and they just are limited, then yes, that's where supplements can come into the equation. Because obviously, I'm all for supplements. I help design supplements, but go nutrition first, then supplements after the fact. So yeah, like obviously sauerkraut, kimchi, pickled veggies, things like that. It's just very simple things. You don't have to have them every single day. Spread them out through the week, 3 to 4 times throughout the week. It's just little things like that that keep us in a good place. And then people going on diets, when they go into a caloric deficit, that makes it worse because not only are you stressing the body out with the caloric deficit, then your fiber intake truly drops. A lot of people get constipated during the dieting phase as well. And the reason why is because they're lowering their fiber content. And it's just your food sources that you're choosing is going to help with that and mitigate those issues.
How much, I don't know if there's a how much research there is around this or how much anybody would ever really be able to tell the severity of the impact when it comes to stress on something like gut health. I know that I've heard that a lot, right? If you are really stressed out, that's going to affect your gut health. But is there like a certain amount that people have been able to tell, like if you eat really good, but you're really stressed out, then your gut health's not going to be good? Like,